Hi, welcome to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Sabrina Register. We're in Vancouver, Washington today for the Association of Washington Cities in its annual convention. And joining me right now is Sally Clark, who is Council President of the Seattle City Council. Thanks so much for coming on the program.
Thanks,
nice to see you.
Thank you very much for having me.
We want to talk viaduct and waterfront. A lot to talk about in just a short period of time. Quickly bring us up to speed. How is the progress going? Are you on track?
Totally on track. So a couple of different things. People are monitoring multiple tracks at the same time. A couple of weeks ago, the state had the groundbreaking on the initial hole that they're digging for where the tunnel boring machine will go in. That's great. They're on time with that. The other thing that's happening is the City Council, we're doing our due diligence on figuring out how to rebuild the seawall, which is not part of that tunnel project. It's not necessarily part of the removal of the viaduct, but it's something we want to do in the same time frame so that we can take advantage of construction windows, impact those businesses for as short a time as possible, which will still feel very long to people, and get the work done as efficiently as we can.
So let's tackle first the seawall. 290 million is the number I'm hearing?
Yeah, you know, we've had higher numbers over time. There was a proposal made a couple of years ago to take this to the voters immediately. We held back and we said, you know, before we go to voters, we'd like to really understand the scope of this project and how something like this gets built. You're talking about a seawall. This is what holds Elliott Bay in place and downtown from sloughing down into Elliott Bay. Most of it was built 7,500 years ago. Scientists, the folks that we pay to study this thing, say that about 50% of it is in bad condition. And that has a big impact for economics in the city. It has a big impact whether you are the Washington State Ferry System or somebody who's got a business down there. So we wanted to have a very clear story about how we were going to replace this thing. And I feel pretty confident that we've got a good proposal now. We've spent many months now looking at it. We've had a lot of the seawall building experts at the table. I feel pretty good about it, and I think we're ready to go out and ask voters if they're ready to invest.
So experts are saying it needs to be replaced. It's not a, wow, it would be great to have it replaced while we're doing the viaduct at the same time.
Yeah, you know, for people who own their own house, you know, when you've bought the house, sometimes the thing that you get to do is redo your kitchen, and everybody sees that, and it's totally exciting, and you're looking at countertops and everything. This is not that project.
It's kind of like the retaining wall that's falling down behind your house.
Yeah, this is after you've bought the house and you realize that actually the foundation isn't in such great shape. Or you've got to do the wiring behind the walls. And you feel good about it as a homeowner because you know you had to do it, but it is not something that you and I see. You and I don't see the seawall unless we are looking back at the city from a ferry boat. And yet it is incredibly important, and it is the foundational element that has to be done, and it has to be done right for safety and for economics.
So it'll be put before the voters?
Yeah, the reason it's got to go before voters is because this is an enormous capital project. It's got to be done in a certain time window. And what we'd like to do is go and sell bonds. You get all that money from the bond sale up front and you pay it back over time. It allows you to do your construction up front as well. We're not going to do construction over 30 years. We're going to do construction over a set number of months. Probably 2 seasons, but a set number of months. That means it's expensive. It is a big ticket item. It's not something that we're going to dribble out over 7 years, 15 years. We're going to get it done and then pay the bonds back over time.
Hearing an earful from the businesses along the waterfront. How do you manage their concerns? Because everything has been torn up. They're saying, how can we survive?
Yeah, from council, what you hear is a very strong commitment from us that we want to know anytime they don't feel like they're getting the service, the advance notice, the information, the kind of coordination that they need. This is going to be hard. There will be bad moments. There have already been bad moments where we, the city, have not done the job we've needed to do to give businesses down there advance notice about street closures, some of the utility work. There's going to be several years of this to go, and we need to get this right. The city needs to really buckle down and get this right. There will be great moments. Last weekend was so much better than the weekend before. This coming weekend, we've got the opening of the Ferris wheel. The summer season is just starting. Those businesses depend on the summer season in order to pay their employees, in order to have a successful business and to make it through some of the, shall we say, colder, wetter months in Seattle where some of us aren't going down to the waterfront as much as we might.
Sure.
So we've got a big responsibility and we need to stay on it.
Sally Clark, unfortunately we're out of time. We need about 20 more minutes, but thanks so much for keeping it concise for us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for watching Comcast Newsmakers. Headline news at the top and bottom of the hour. Hope you can stay with us.